My Mother's Child is brought to you by Crown Plaza Resort Guam. Book your reservations today. Call 671-646-5880.
Remember when you guys came back? I think you came back for vacation from California, and we decided to take the old VHS tapes out. Yes, I still have a VHS player, and
we wanted to just, talk about how it was growing up and maybe ask you some questions. I guess now that we're parents, like you said, what are some advice you have for us now that we're parents?
advice as parents. Well, off the top of my head, there's no one right way to parent, right? Mm-hmm. No one right way to parent. What I did as a single mom, and I was blessed to come from a good family, as you both know, right? I grew up with a core set of values and that helped me. That helped me to be, I think, a good parent, because I believe I was a good parent, because I dedicated all of my spare time really toward taking care of you guys and making sure that you grew up to be contributing members of the community. I think some of the things, first and foremost, for you as parents, the best advice I give you is to make sure that your children know and love God, first and foremost. Because with God in your life, with Christ in your life, all things fall into place. Also, make sure you don't spoil the kids, because
that's your job.
That's my job now. But if you spoil the kids, you make them weak. I believe that. And I didn't spoil any of you. It was more about helping you to learn coping skills. And those are taught early on. I want to say actually from infancy through to adulthood. All those life lessons. I never pampered you. I made sure you learned well. You all learned to read before you started school. I read to you as much as I could. My job, I have a busy job, and you know that, right? But any spare moments I had, I made sure went toward building you guys to be the best you could be. So I talked about putting God first. That's really, really important, especially in this day and age. Not spoiling the kids. I think health is wealth. You got to make sure the kids eat well, and they're not eating junk, and they're not putting a lot of processed foods into their bodies. Remember, your blood is your lifeline, right? Health is wealth, and also I think discipline is really important. Discipline your kids, because you're not supposed to be their friend, right? You first and foremost, you are to be the parent. You're the parent, and in doing that, you're going to make for children that are going to grow up much more sound. They're going to be able to make better decisions, life decisions, right? Mm-hmm. And because the kids are going to be put into different positions, and always remember, when the drum beat changes, so does the dance. And what do I mean by that? You adjust to situations. As situations occur, you just got to make those adjustments. So these are things. So, and there are so many books out there. There are so many commentaries. There are so many podcasts about parenting. What you have to do is, with those core values you have in place, and I would suggest you have at least 5 core values: hard work, self-discipline, honor and integrity, things like that, right? You're gonna have to decide what those are gonna be, and that will help you also decide what you're going to, because I read a lot as a young mom, and I really loved Focus on the Family. I loved Dr. James Dobson, so I would read his books, and I've read others, and I would just take bits and pieces and I applied them to how I raised you.
2 things I definitely remember from growing up. You would always tell us, make good choices and put God first, and undoubtedly those 2 things go hand in hand, and I know that's something I try to pass on to my girls.
Yes. Well, we were definitely disciplined.
Yes,
So that's also something
absolutely.
I try to carry on to my kids, but it's really good advice, Mom.
Yes.
Yeah, I policed at work and I policed at home. It's easy.
And now, what's the biggest difference between being a mom and a grandmother?
I think the difference is the responsibility of parenting and correcting the kids and all that other stuff lies with you. With me, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I'm older, wiser, and I don't know. There's just this pure, untainted love that I have for my guy. I love them all. I mean, everyone from Sophie Cohen. I've got Sophie Cohen, Willie, Mia, Tori, Duke, and now Callum.
Yeah.
So I have 7 grandchildren, and I love them unconditionally. But the real difference is, and that saying, it takes a village to raise a child, is so true. I do discipline them, by the way, when they're with me. Can't, tap a hand if they're touching something they shouldn't. That would probably save their lives. But it's all about just showing them all the love. I just love them. I just want to keep loving on them.
Yep.
I loved you guys too, by the way. And I always that. And not a day went by that I didn't tell you guys that I loved you.
Yep.
It's even phone calls, and it's funny because the guys at work, the guys at work, they're like, Cap, we noticed that your kids always say they love you. And I said, yeah, it was a thing because we never know. And in my career, you just, you don't take things for granted, and you just never know when is the last time you're gonna be speaking to that person. It doesn't matter what job you're in. That's just life, right?
It's definitely true, because I'll be ordering pizza and hang up and say, love you. They're like, what? I don't even know you.
But I definitely see bits of you in Derin, and I hear bits of you when I speak to my own kids. So, just know that we've taken those good things that you tried so hard to impress upon us, and we've applied it to our own lives. And even when we're not around each other, when I was living overseas, I would always do the same things with my kids. We would watch movies and just hang out, spend all our time together. So we've taken all those good things that you've given us, and we've turned it into even more love in our own families.
Yeah.
I was gonna share. Do you remember when you guys came back? I think you came back for vacation from California, and we decided to take the old VHS tapes out. Yes, I still have a VHS player and VHS tapes. It was a thing for me to capture memories, right? Capture moments through video and through photography. But we were playing the old videos where you kids were playing at home, Christmas and stuff, and I remember Vic, your husband, looked at you and he said, Devon, you had a good childhood. And those are moments, like hearing him say that and recognizing it through the videos, right? He saw the love, he saw that, we cared for each other. And then he said, you never shared with me. And I thought, Devon, you didn't share all those wonderful childhood memories with your husband?
Well, I remember growing up, you were busy, especially with your job, being a policewoman. You were called to many things that required you to be away from us, but at the same time, and I think you can agree, we didn't really feel that separation. So I guess I just want to know how you were able to do that and manage and just make us not feel that absence.
I think if there's anything I can teach you both is where there's a will, there's a way. And I loved and cared for you guys so much that if I was at work, and I can remember going to working and also going to school, and she played basketball for St. Paul's, right? And I'd be at a scene, I'd be like, hey, whoever was in charge, I just need to run and go to my daughter's bed. And even if you just saw me and I'm on the sidelines, you know, I'm here, you know, making those calls, driving up to check, and, you know, if you were being watched by someone, I did those impromptu visits just to make sure everything was in place. And, you know, you were young at academy. I had you going to academy, and you worked part-time, and I felt so bad because those were hard times. Police officers didn't make very good money, but I managed to stretch it.
What do you always tell us? Hard times build character.
They do, and you know, it was a thing. It was a thing for me to, you know, you both. I didn't just tell you what to do. I lived what I wanted you to do. I built a house for you. I sent you all to private schools. And so that comes at a sacrifice, right? And so that's the best thing about being a mom. You make the sacrifices because it's the kids' turn.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom.
Happy Mother's
Thank
Day.
you. Love you guys.
My Mother's Child is brought to you by Crown Plaza Resort Guam. Book your reservations today. Call 671-646-5880.